So rarely in the Bay State do we have a super class, who gets to grace our fairways and knock down putts on our greens. But in the women's side of things for 2020, we have just that with 8 young women in Massachusetts moving on to the Division I collegiate level. Joining me now, one of those 8, Margot Osterman. So joining me now is Rebecca Skoler, Tate Hadges, Allison Paik, Jillian Barend. So here now with Gabrielle Shieh, with Walsh, one of 8, again, just members of a super class in Massachusetts, the class of 2020, with 8 young women going on to Division I collegiate golf. Anne, how are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, how are you?
Good. I can't complain. We'll get right into it. What are your hopes now for the summer? Obviously, COVID-19 dependent. If it's safe to be able to play, what sort of competitions are you looking to try to get into and stay fresh?
Probably a lot of mass golf ones and probably MGA events. I'll probably keep it more local.
Well, mass golf events are definitely my favorite. I love playing in my home state, and I love playing with the competitors that I've grown up with, especially all these girls that are going to play college golf next year. They've been like my biggest competitors since day one, and so it's super fun to play against them. And I know they are such a strong group of players, so it's a lot of fun competition. But yeah, it's also really nice to play in events that have Massachusetts in the title and say, I did well in this event. I won the Mass Junior Am or Girls Am, just because it kind of brings recognition to the state and like, you can still play golf in Massachusetts. A lot of people are like, it's too cold there. So it's nice.
I grew up playing mass golf, any PGA junior events, and they really set the bar for high school. And I think that was one of the most helpful things going in because I didn't really know what to expect. And that kind of prepared me for the level of play and just the style of play in high school. And I think going on to a boys team in high school as a freshman, being one of like the only girls was kind of stressful for me. But I think all the tournament play and really prepared me for the different matches and practices. And high school golf was like one of the best seasons for me out of all the sports that I played, and it was just really fun to have more casual golf compared to like tournaments, which can be stressful and competitive, but it was more of a fun experience for me. And I think mass golf events are always, again, really fun, and I love playing in them because I was able to play with my dad in the father-daughter tournaments, and that's always a fun thing to look forward to every year.
Well, mass golf has had the biggest impact on my golf game so far. My first tournaments were with the WJM. I believe I started playing the Mowat Trophy when I was 6 years old. My mom actually still has the picture at home. It's her favorite picture of all my golf pictures. Yeah, so I've been playing with the WGAM since I was really little, and I just kept playing with mass golf when they merged with WGAM, and I love all the tournaments there. I've met my closest friends at the mass golf tournaments, and I look forward to playing in those tournaments every year.
Yeah, mass golf events have provided me with so many opportunities just to kind of like showcase my game and then also meet other players kind of working towards the same things. Obviously, the competition at mass golf, there's always great fields and plenty of people to learn from. I've been able to play with, I remember when I was younger, I had the chance to play with Shannon Johnson in one of the Mass Am events, and that was just such a special thing. My dad caddied for me, and just to be able to play with a player of that caliber who was just so nice and so open to kind of talking about her experience in mass golf has been really cool.
Walk me through your own game. What are some of the strengths and stuff I guess we should look out for in the future for you to be participating in our events?
I think I'm probably a pretty good driver of the golf ball. I average around like 240, 250. So I think that's probably my strength out of my game.
Well, I think that for me, my strength has always been my ball striking. I'm very consistent. I'm not a long hitter at all, but very consistent. So for me, I'm going to work very hard on gaining a little bit of power because I know when I'm competing next year, I know that these girls are going to be hitting it very far. They're going to have very strong games. So I'm just working on short game and power, especially now when I can't go to the range something I can do is get stronger and work on my putting inside.
Well, I think something that sets me apart from other people is just my distance. I don't really know where I got it from. I assume being tall and lanky kind of helped that, but it was always something that I didn't think was really unique until I started playing at like a higher level, and I found that it became helpful when I was playing courses that were say 6,000 yards and up, and it really gave me an advantage, and that's kind of what I've been working on. And I always know that I can always put the ball out there, but control may be something that is iffy in places, but I think that that's one of the strengths of my game, because compared to someone else, if you're getting to a par 5 and 2, that can be really helpful sometimes with the distance.
I'm very headstrong. I don't let things get to me on the course. I'm always like looking at the next shot, not dwelling on past shots that might have impacted how I play in the future.
I think my strengths are definitely my putting. I'm not the longest hitter, so I try to really work on my short game and make up for it there.
I would say my strength is putting. I've really been working on my putting in the past couple of years, and I've been trying to hone in on those like the 10 feet and under putts, and I've also been working on like the log putts, trying to like get it within like kind of like a 6-foot radius, so that way I could like always try to guarantee a 2-putt from anywhere on the green.
I think a strength is probably my driver. It's always been my favorite club since I was little. I mean, I guess there were times when I liked an iron, but I just think it's nice to be able to take kind of a bigger swing at the ball. And I think that my distance is certainly one of my strengths. So I think that's why I like the driver.
And speaking of this group, is there a lot of camaraderie between you guys and having fun and playing in a lot of the same events and being at a lot of the same courses together?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, it's a little bit different between boys and girls because we aren't super competitive with each other. We're more friends than competitors. But I love playing with them because I know how good they are, how well they can compete. And it's different because in the other states, none of us are very known. Like in Florida, they have like the top players. They're very known because everyone plays events in Florida. But I think it's really special that all these girls are such strong competitors, but because not all of us go travel and play in all these amateur events and international events all over the country, our name isn't out there as much. But I know that when I'm playing here, it's not a joke, and the competition is so very strong.
Yeah, I think that almost every girl that's going to play college golf and that plays in mass golf events, I'm good friends with. Whenever we play with them, it's always like a fun time, and I've made connections that I may not have made without golf. And there's some of the girls all around the state and even the US that I've become friends with and still talk to this day. And it's just a really nice community, and everyone's always nice and welcoming and always willing to have a conversation on the course. We'll be walking down the hole and talk about your own life outside and create bonds that really have lasted throughout high school for me. And I look forward to going to different events, and if I recognize a name, it's always nice to have a conversation once you get there and have someone that you know at an event.
Yeah, my first tournament, I played with Gabrielle Shieh, who's also from Massachusetts, going to a D1 school. And she's probably been one of my closest friends for a while, as well as Walsh, who I'm also going to Columbia with, and Rebecca Skoler, who I've also known for a while because we've had the same coach from the start. So, yeah.
I think so, yeah. I mean, people are definitely competitive, but it's great to like see other girls that care about a sport like golf just as much as you do and be able to talk about it and have some friendships along the way.
I think it's really important because some of these girls are my closest friends, and it's really nice being able to compete with each other, to improve with each other, and just like challenge each other on the golf course. I think it's a really important relationship to have.
Yeah, I think there's certainly a great sense of camaraderie. I feel like a lot of us just really connect in that like we're all motivated working towards the same things, but then certainly value kind of like the fun aspects of the competition. And so one of my favorite events last summer was playing in the Mass Girls Junior with I got to play with Allison Paik, Angela Garvin, just a lot of my friends. And so just to have that experience competing at that level with people who I've known forever was just a really great memory to take with me.